Don't you hate it when you forget an idea? Great ideas can come to you at any time, day or night. And the most important thing you could do when a good idea comes to you is write it down, or at least record it in some way or another. I remember seeing an interview with Jerry Seinfeld once where he talked about having a pad by his bed so that if he's inspired and gets some sort of an idea for a joke, in the middle of the night he could take out his pad and just write it down and put it to bed. And then, of course, you hope that in the morning you understand what you wrote. It's a real important thing to write down your ideas, at least in some way. And make sure it's a reliable system. For example, I had a problem just the other day. I use my recorder on my watch. There's a little app that I have called Just Press Record. And, I'll periodically be out and about and I'll push the button and I'll say something and then I'll push it again and it saves it, and then at a later date I transcribe it. I had an incident just the other day where I played it back and all I heard was user-defined, and that was it. At some point, I was starting to finish a sentence, and I guess I must have accidentally tapped the stop button too soon. So now I just have user-defined blank. And now 3, 4, maybe 5 days later, I'm trying to transcribe all my ideas, which I use for this channel and for other things I'm working on. And I have this user-defined blank. Now, I have no idea what I said after the words user-defined. And that's actually going to prove my point even more. Because a lot of times I am tempted when I have an idea to say to myself, oh, I'll just write it down later. I'll just record it later. This is so obvious. I'm not going to forget it. But I could write it down later. No problem either way. Thinking, all right, well, this is such an obvious thing. There's no way I even need to write it down. It's just a formality, no big deal. Well, the reality is, no matter how good an idea is, if you don't record it or write it down somehow, believe me, you can and will forget it. In fact, you may not even remember that you forgot it. It will just be gone. I have no recollection, for example, in this particular case, of what I said after user-defined. And as much as I tried thinking of all different things, I even wrote it down a few times thinking I would just finish the sentence, I do not remember what user-defined blank was. And that's because it's important that even if you think something's obvious, write it down. The most fundamental things can happen when you make assumptions about how, oh, I don't need to take notes. Like you go to an event and you see a lot of people taking notes and you think, what are the people doing that aren't taking notes? Well, they think they're going to remember it. I'll tell you what, if you think you're going to remember something, write it down anyway. There's a pretty good chance that you won't. So the most important thing is if you find something's real interesting, just write it down. I know people who keep notebooks of just nothing in particular. They'll just, and I've been doing that for years, I keep these marble notebooks at my desk and I just write stuff down as they come out. And then, they're there. And if I want to sort of put myself in my mindset of where I was a week ago, I could just flip back a few pages and there's all that information. Things that at that time might have seemed obvious. So today's idea of the day is a tip. If you've got ideas coming to you, find some way of recording them as soon as they happen. As soon as they happen. Because if you wait even a little while, you'll be stuck just like me with user-defined blank. And that's today's idea of the day. All right, so that's today's idea of the day. I hope you liked it. If you visit ideaoftheday.com, you'll see a new one every day. Every day. Yeah, some of them don't suck. And don't forget to subscribe. And you can see them here every day. Brand new one. And some of my videos don't suck either.